Well, I find myself sitting here driving all the way back. 2 hours and 34 minutes back to Windsor, Ontario tonight. I'll get there. 2 hours. I'll get there at 2 o'clock in the morning. Cool. Come all the way up here. I thought if I could just get the filly away good, we could get a chunk. It's a big mile. She paced her last start. She's coming in razor sharp, fresh as a daisy, feeling good. And then got away well, and then everything come off the rails. And I know, I've been there a million times. You look left, 5, 6, 7 aren't really on the gate, and you go out of there looking for a hole on a half-mile track. It's tough. And Kurt got stuck on the outside. Stuck on the outside and really made it tough. Half and 57-1 made it tough for a number of people. Listen, I've been there. I know the drill. I wish what I didn't see happening is Aaron's horse walking in the last turn. Had he just kept me in, if he just kept me in the hunt, I'm a piece of it. I think they paid $3,000 for 6th also. Of course, I was only beat that much for 6th. Not much you can do. You didn't get a chance to race. There's barely a training mile for her tonight. But, I guess I can be mad because Kurt left. Which would make me a hypocrite. I can be mad because they went with a 10-horse field on a half-mile track, which they shouldn't have done. Their alternative is 2 5-horse fields, which kind of sucks for the bettors and sucks for everybody, too. The whole thing is a tough situation, but that's racing. What are you going to do? Around the first turn, I was laughing. I said, man, this filly cornered well in the first turn. Never put a step in. Usually you got to watch her. Never put a step in. I'm following the one who looked okay. 2, 3, 5's in the back. All the other horses, I got to beat her in the back. I'm going to get a bone where I'm at. I'm going to get a piece. And then Kurt stuck on the outside. So whatever. We didn't get a chance to race. It's frustrating. It happens. Overall, a pretty good night of racing. I know Memento Mori flying late's frustrating. But, we joke about, driving them conservative. There's really nothing Scott could do tonight, right? He had the 12 post, another ridiculous number. 12 post in a 2-year-old trot and ended up getting away as good as you could get away. And then, of course, you get that slow, annoying grind to the outside with horses. You end up getting moving, and you end up 4th over. And if any one of the 3 in front of you can't keep up, which happens plenty of times, you end up in no man's land. The Bermuda Triangle of racing. Fanning out 4 deep coming into the last turn in Kentucky. And of course, I'm watching it on my iPad as I'm getting changed. And the wheel of death is going. So I didn't get to watch the last 16th. It paused and then picked them up after the wire. I wanted to punch a hole right through my iPad. And then I had to wait and watch the slow-mo. And I'm like, geez, he's going to be 3rd. Oh, he might have been 2nd. And he was. So yet another bridesmaid finish, but another great race from Memento Mori. I guess you can't really possibly be coming in more fresh than Memento Mori is. To say he's set up well for the final would be an understatement. He's fresh as a daisy, sharp as a tack, and I dare say, if nothing else, I know it looks like we maybe left some money on the table, and Scott was conservative with him, which he's supposed to be. He's a baby trotter. But he has learned a lot, right? I dare say that if you tried to give him that trip, Scott might have been in trouble coming off the car from a trailing post with all that crowd around him before. So he has done a pretty good job teaching the horse, and I have to believe, no matter the draw. Now, of course, I don't want to invite a 10-hole with a jinx, but no matter the draw, any sort of reasonable draw south of 7. And I think that Scott's got a real good chance to win the final with Memento Mori. And I think it's important to point out that we have other fish, maybe not bigger fish, but other fish to fry. We have the Bluegrass, we have the International Stallion. We do have the Breeders' Crown also. And in this horse has never looked like he can't trot with them. They trotted 28 tonight. Now the screen was small. I think they said 28. That makes his last quarter, 27 and 2? Somewhere around there. Maybe 1 on the end of it. He's not going to get lost in speed anywhere. So I think we do have the freshest kind of horse as we head into the final of the B division. As we head into the Bluegrass, the International Stallion, and further to that, hopefully the Breeders' Crown. So I'm not upset, not disappointed. You know, in the past you can say, oh, we could have done this, we could have done that. Well, tonight I just don't think there was any way to play it any differently. Scott did the right thing from start to finish. So, no complaints. A good race from him. Earlier in the card, again, raced well. Westland Warrior. You know, I know Scott doesn't love this guy. Anytime, and the one thing I've learned about Scotty is if a horse makes him look bad or frustrates him, he has a dislike for them for a while. And I don't mean physically dislike the animal, but just not enjoy the entire situation. And Westland Warrior has raced better, right? Done that quarter in 27 seconds last week. I don't know what his last quarter was tonight. He had to be around 28. Had to be a mile 55 and 1, 2, somewhere around there. Horse is really starting to come to life, and quite frankly, whether he would admit it or not, he is a contender in the Goldenrod final. And he also is eligible to a lot of other races if we choose to race him in them. So happy with both those horses. And then tonight with Gorgeous Package, you saw what happened. It was even worse than what happened with Scotty. I never got out, right? Got out in the last turn. I got the race for well less than a quarter of a mile. We get to sit, follow a horse off the car, sit, follow that horse the entire way, and really, it might have been a little more than an eighth of a mile I got the racer. It's very frustrating, and it may force our hand too. A third, fourth, fifth would have got us in the consolation for sure. I think with a sixth, we have to race in the fifth leg to get in the final. And those horses, aside from the winner, you can tell they've been racing hard all summer. That's for sure. I still think the best path forward for our filly is the Buckeye Final and the consolation of the Sire Stakes. So in that regard, what you're probably going to see happen is you're probably going to see a lot of our horses racing Jug Week. We're leaning towards Gypsy Hill racing in the Sire Stakes next Saturday in the hopes that either it's a watered-down final, or if we're really lucky, consolation, and then we can race in both. I know I spoke to Greg about it tonight. It's still eating away at me. That a couple of years ago, you guys will remember, Sweet on Peak got stuck in the final. That still has left a bad taste in my mouth, and I don't want to tempt fate. So we're probably going to have in the Buckeye Jug Week, we're likely going to have Irresistible Sun. If we race Gypsy Hill in the Sire Stakes race on Friday evening, which we plan on doing, he will be forced to race in the Ohio Breeders' Sires race. It's a tough race, no joke. Irresistible Sun, as I said, with the Buckeye, and then we'll have to race, if we race Gorgeous Package in the next Sire Stake to make the consolation, which we plan on doing, I believe, then she too will have to race in the Ohio Sire race. I'm not really worried about that. On a half-mile track with a favorable draw, I'm not going to tell you she can beat Burke's filly or Virgil's filly, but we're not. There might be two divisions, and if there is two divisions, great. I'll welcome a shorter field with those other fillies any day of the week with her. She's sharp right now. She's starting to feel good. But as you can see, as we get into the dog days of summer, as they say, we're trying to traverse. Ohio's its own unique animal, right? It's the only place you can do this. The only place on earth that you can race in the Grassroots Final and the Gold Consolation, right? The Sire Stakes Consolation and the Buckeye Final. Nowhere else you can do that. So we're left trying to figure out how to wiggle in there. So yes, driving 2 hours and 34 minutes to get on the bike and not even get to race. Finish 7th, get off the bike, take your suit off, and drive 2 hours and 34 minutes back in the middle of the night. Not cool. In fact, not my favorite thing to do at all. But I know as I drive down the road that every single horse got raced as well as they could tonight. I couldn't do anything more with Gorgeous Package. Scott couldn't do anything more with Memento Mori. And I wasn't disappointed with the way he drove Western Warrior. He protected a final draw, which I believe he's in. And if we keep racing him easy, when push comes to shove, like in a final, when we really have to ask him for more, maybe there'll be something there for us, a little more than we thought. So although I'm disappointed with the drive, I'm not disappointed with the races at all. I know we did all we could, and time marches on. Now, I was a little curious Monday because I looked on my calendar. I'm not racing tomorrow, which even makes the finals in the morning in Windsor even that more cool. Arison races at 3:51. Good luck to everybody with him. Brace for landing, yo, mister. And all gas, no brakes tomorrow. Tuesday, that's going to be a cool day. Steak day. Rosetta, Gymboree, Grand Slam Deal, Green Glitter, all race in Kentucky. Century Legion and Gaslight Hall race in Ontario. Big night for Gaslight Hall. I really would like to see him win. He's picked to win, I think. He's 5-2. At the very least, he's picked for second. I would like to see him win. I'd like to see a good race at a Century Legion. Then I'm going to race Aunt Lily and Freedom Hill. Lovers Play in Northfield. And we're going to watch the night end up with I'm Fancy Like making her New York State debut at Yonkers Raceway. So that's what's going on right now. That's what went on tonight. I'm on my way back. Most important thing is tomorrow. The final was funny. You guys, it's so funny how people pay attention. I didn't even notice. One of our clients said, wow, Ollie's coach must really have a lot of faith in him. He was 3-0. He was 3-0, 3 balls, no strikes when he hit that double through the infield. And Ollie had told me after the game, he said, coach was mad at me. You know, he told me to take that pitch, and it was right down the middle, and I just crushed it. I never even noticed. Anyway, having a lot of fun this week. It's so nice just to take a step back and enjoy. It's not, I love every second of horse racing, but I'm doing my best to enjoy our kids growing up, and you know, you always run into people, especially in this game, that said I missed so much, and I'm going to miss some, but as little as I possibly can. So I hope you guys are having a wonderful Labor Day or a long weekend, depending on which side of the border you're on. I am, and will continue to. I will talk to you about tomorrow. Have a wonderful day, rest of your night, all 16 minutes of it, wherever you are. Take care.